Hi, I'm Katie Denton, the president of the Boulder Alumni Chapter of Delta Gamma, and I'm going to walk you through how to customize the website Delta Gamma provides for your chapter in the GIN system. To log into your website for the first time, you'll go to ginsystem.com. That's ginsystem.com. Click the Login button on the top right and select Delta Gamma for your organization. To log into the GIN system, you will use the same username and password that you use for deltagamma.org and for MemberPlanet. To update your chapter's website, you will need to have administrator-level access to your GIN account. If you are an admin, click on Administrators on the left sidebar and then Manage External Website. If you are not an administrator, at this point you will see a pop-up screen telling you that you need to have admin access to update the website. The pop-up will provide you with the names, emails, and phone numbers of the women who do have admin access for your site so that you can reach out to them and ask them to update your permissions. Now click the Go button and you'll be taken to your DG Group's site backend. The first thing you will want to do if your group has never accessed their website before, or if it's been a few years since you've accessed it, is to switch your design as listed here in Step 1. Delta Gamma periodically introduces new site designs that you can choose from. It's a good idea to check in on this page maybe every year or so and see if there are any new designs that might be a better fit for your group than the ones that were previously offered. Currently, there are 6 different design themes to choose from. If you click on the images, you'll see full-sized examples of how a homepage in that design would look. Choose your design by clicking on the star under the one that you want to pick. Then at the top of the page, click Update Design. Before you change your design, you will want to look at your site's current design and note any images that appear in the pages of your site, not including those in your photo album. Each design uses different sizing for in-page photos, so any photos inside your pages will not adjust to match the new design. It is a good idea to download these photos from your site or make sure you have a backup on a computer before changing your design. That way, if there are any that you want to keep on your inside pages, you can re-upload them and crop them to match the new design. As you're working on your site, clicking on the DG logo at the top left or on the link that says Website Training at the top right will take you back to this setup page. You'll notice as we go through and update your site that there are some pages with copy that you can see on the front end, the public site for your web page, and that you can't see on the back end in the GIN system. Delta Gamma has portions of some pages locked with their own content that you will not be able to change or update. For pages where Executive Offices has supplied a large amount of content, you might want to consider creating a new page for yourself instead of adding to the bottom of their content. An example of this is the Foundation page. If your group is heavily involved in foundation-related activities, instead of burying your information all the way down at the bottom of this page, you might want to create a new page and put it under the current foundation page and give it a name showing that it's foundation work related to your specific group. I'll be showing you how to create a new page later on in the training. Now that you've chosen your design, the next thing to do is to update or write your welcome message. You can do that here from the setup page or over here in the left sidebar. The welcome message is the first thing visitors to your website will see. Write a brief message welcoming DGs to your area and say a little bit about what makes your group unique. Keep the message simple and don't write a long, dense paragraph. It's a good idea to include links to your important pages right here on your home page. You want to make sure there's a link to your Facebook page or group and any other social profiles that your group has, which I'll show you how to do in a minute, a button for paying dues, and a link to your events page so that members can navigate directly to it. If you want to see what your message or any of your pages will look like before you commit to saving the changes, you can click here on the Preview Website link and see a preview page. Once you are done making changes to your page, hit Update on the bottom right and your changes will be saved. For any page that you add changes to, you'll need to hit Update to make the change permanent. It's a good idea to have your chapters page pulled up in a separate tab so that you can refresh it and see your changes as you go. If you do not know your group's URL, You will find it at the top of this screen under your chapter's name. You may have noticed that on my chapter's homepage, there's a Follow Our Association header with Facebook and Instagram icons. You can add social media icons to your homepage instead of just using links by using the Follow Our Group link on the left or Follow Our Chapter here on the right. On this page, you can add links to your accounts. Be sure to hit Update when you are done. You'll notice on our page it says Follow Our Association, but my group is a chapter, as it says here at the top of our homepage. I emailed Gin customer service asking if we could update it since we are not an association, and this was the response they gave me. Quote, the following Our Association on the homepage header is built into the design template that was approved by Delta Gamma Executive Office and cannot be changed. We understand some alumni groups are chapters and not associations, so we designate the difference by displaying the chapter name in a larger font. In any future new design template, we will consult with Delta Gamma on changing that area of the header. End quote. So for now, it might not reflect the status of your group, but that's okay. You should still use this feature because it makes it easy for people to follow your social accounts. Now it's time to add images to your homepage. You can add a main photo or a slideshow. This is a feature that will be different for every design, so your page might not have the exact same options as you see here. Depending on your design, you may also have the option to create a different slideshow to display on your internal pages from what it shows on the home page. When you add photos, there will be a pop-up letting you know if your image is not the right size or shape. After you've uploaded the image, there's a pretty generic tool in the site for adding filters, cropping, and editing the photo. So you will not be left on your own. The page will actually help you through. If you've got more photos than what you put in the slideshows, you can set up photo albums over here on the scrapbook page. You can add as many albums as you want, so you can do one for your whole year's worth of activities or set up one album per event. If you have a site that someone had been running a few years ago, you might notice that old photo albums are missing. Gin did an update at the beginning of 2017 that made old photo albums, so anything from 2014 or older, disappear. I spoke with them about this at the time, and they said unfortunately there was nothing they could do to retrieve them. So it's always a good idea to have a backup of your group's photos. The next step is to update your group's news. This is what will display at the bottom of your website alongside the scroll of tweets from Delta Gamma. You can select to display news and write an announcement, or instead put your Twitter handle in to display your feed just like the Delta Gamma feed. Recently added was the option to add your Instagram feed. This is a new feature, and for my group it is not displaying correctly just yet, so you will need to be patient. If you decide to use the news feature for announcements, make sure that you update it often so that your website doesn't look old and outdated. You can use it to promote your next event, just make sure to change it after an event ends. Next, you want to update the web page's footer information. It's up to you if you want to list a physical address or not. If you do list an address, it should be either the president's or the VP Finance's, in case people are going to mail their dues checks to you. Make sure that these officers are comfortable with their addresses being on the public web page. If you choose not to list a physical address, make sure that you do put in an email address. I recommend creating a group email or a president's email address that does not change when officers change. Then you can just update the message forwarding as you elect new officers. Next, you should add information to your Contact Us page. It's entirely up to you how much you want to share. I recommend listing your officers, and if they agree, sharing their email addresses. At the very least, make sure that that general group email you created is listed. Earlier, I talked about how some content on your pages is locked by Delta Gamma. You can tell what pages are open, locked, or partially locked here on the left sidebar. Let's look at the History page. You can see it is partially locked by the half lock next to the name. When you are editing the page, you can click the link above the editor to reveal what the locked content looks like. You can add your own chapter's history under the national content, or you might choose to create a new page for your group's history. Unfortunately, you cannot nestle pages under other pages. If you want a new page, you go to the navigation item that your page should fall under, in this case About, and click on the small plus sign. This will add your page to the bottom of the items in that section. Name your page, and then go in and add everything you need to. The Jin system uses a basic editor similar to Microsoft Word, and each item on the top of the editor will tell you what the tool does when you hover over it with your cursor. After you've created your page, hit Update. When you refresh your site, you will see your new page in the drop-down list for that navigation item that you put it under. If you're working on a web page, either new or existing, and you aren't ready to finish it right now, you can go back to your editor and hide the page. This will keep the public from being able to see it on your actual URL. You can also delete a page that you don't need anymore. You cannot delete or hide locked or partially locked pages. As we're updating your website, make sure that under Membership you go to the Dues page and add information on how members can pay their local dues to you. For our group, I took a screenshot of a payment button that MemberPlanet creates, saved it as an image, uploaded it to our Dues page, and then hyperlinked it to our MemberPlanet payment form. One of the most important things on your website will be your events page. Depending on your group size and the number of different events you host each year, you might want to split up the way your events are listed. By default, you're given a local events page, a special interest groups page, and an event calendar page. If your group is very large, you might want to list every single event and activity in the event calendar page, and then split out your 6 anchored events to the local events page, and then anything else that you'll be doing with a special interest group, like a book club, mom's group, or a wine club on the special interest groups page. If your group is smaller, you might want to hide the events calendar page altogether and only list your core events on the local events page. My group doesn't currently have any active special interest groups, but we left the page up with some information on what SIGs are and who to contact if you'd like to be in charge of one. So this way people realize that special interest groups are an option. Make sure that you are updating the events pages and removing old events as soon as they pass. There is an option to add more pages under the events navigation item. If you're proud of the events that your group has done in the past, you could create a past events page and list dates and activities of things you've done in previous years. This would be helpful for any potential new members of your group that might visit your site in the summer when your upcoming events haven't been posted yet. This way they'll still be able to see the type of events your group has and know that your group is active. There's another navigation item called Collegiate Support. If your group supports a collegiate chapter, either locally or remotely, brag about them. Make sure you include a link to their website, mention any activities you do to support them, share photos of interactions between your group and their chapter, and post updates on their recruitment successes. The last navigation item is the Links page. Here you can share any links that you think your members might be interested in. You can share links to official Delta Gamma pages, Facebook groups, local DG-related or DG-owned businesses, etc. Now that your website is up to date, don't forget to see who stops by. On the sidebar at the bottom of the Home section, click on Website Stats to see how many people have visited your site. Lastly, you might notice on the sidebar that there's a link that says Music Player, where you can add a song to play on your website. Please do not do this. This was a popular thing to have on websites about 10 years ago, but adding music to your site today will probably cost you viewers. I hope this tutorial has been helpful to you and your group's Delta Gamma website looks amazing and is welcoming to new members and to your current members. Make sure to include your URL on any emails or physical newsletters you send out. You should also share it on your Facebook page or in your Facebook group. This will give you an opportunity to remind members that they should be sending you photos from any events if they complain that they're not listed on your website. If you have any questions, you can contact me at boulderdgalum@gmail.com. Thanks.